We start our team coverage in Lansing tonight with 24-hour News 8 political reporter Rick Albin. Rick?
Susie, I think this could be just the beginning of a lot of protests, a lot of demonstrations here in Lansing. We already know of another one tomorrow, but let's tell you why that's happening. It's not just because of the governor's budget, but there are a lot of moving pieces, a lot of legislation that's going on here. And one of the people who has introduced some of that legislation that is drawing some concerns is Representative Al Pachuca from Stevensville. Let's talk for just a minute about some of the legislation that we're talking about for you that's going to be in third reading, likely to pass tomorrow, dealing with emergency managers. It led one union leader today to say that it would do away with collective bargaining in the state of Michigan. You disagree?
No, it wouldn't do that at all. There's still a process for emergency managers, and what this bill actually does, it allows more work to be done by Treasury before we even get to emergency manager. Now, I heard from a labor leader today who said, well, we think we'd just be better off to be in bankruptcy. I disagree with that. That affects the credit rating of the municipality, the school district, the entire state of Michigan. This is a way to keep communities out of bankruptcy, away from an emergency manager, but also allows emergency managers to have the tools to do the job that the state sends them to do.
Let me ask you about the kind of the origin of these bills. Are you concerned that there will be more municipalities that will have to take advantage of this opportunity, if you want to call it that, to deal with emergency managers? Are our cities, are our towns in that bad a shape?
I think we could see more reviews. And by that is Treasury coming in, doing a review. Perhaps there's a deficit reduction plan. Perhaps there's a consent agreement with that school district or municipality, so we don't get to this emergency manager level that can be politically explosive. And I've got one in my district. We've got an emergency financial manager. He's doing some good things, but he can't get the job done because he gets a lot of interference from some of the local officials.
Representative, thank you so much. We'll be here tomorrow to watch this as we continue our commitment to tell you what happens after the elections here in Lansing. Leon Hendricks was here all day. Leon, step in and tell me, when you were here, tell me about those crowds.
Well, there were certainly a lot of them, and as you and I were talking before we went on the air at 5, this isn't something that's completely unprecedented, but something that you usually don't see here. Take a look at some of the video that we captured inside. There is a large area where the public can sit above the House floor where they talk about these bills. That area was filled. It holds about 270 people. That area was completely filled, and so were the hallways and several other rooms where they had the public watching what was happening. A resolution hasn't been, or they have not yet voted on the management bill. That is the main one that the protesters were here for. But one of the most impressive part about the amount of protests was the large number of things that they were talking about. Not just the management, the issue that's being discussed today, but also some of the other things that have been put in front of the public on Rick Snyder's budget.
We're here to work together to fix Michigan's problems rather than finding one group to lay all the blame on and, get rid of them, get rid of their right, and everything will be good then. It's not going to work that way.
That was one of the hottest things Michigan had going the last couple of years is the film incentive, which was bringing people back to Michigan. I myself, born in Michigan, raised in Michigan, left 21 years ago, was living in L.A., working in the film industry, came back because of the film incentives and because of that film program. I was excited, and all of a sudden, it's like I showed up, the party's over.
Certainly no shortage of passion on these issues, but one thing both sides, politicians on both sides, said they agreed on is that it's good that people are coming down to voice what they think about the decisions being made here in Lansing. We're, of course, continuing to follow that as those decisions come down and impact you. Reporting live in Lansing tonight, Leon Hendricks, 24-Hour News 8.
Thank you, Leon. From Madison to Lansing to Grand Rapids, the debate over public employee pay and benefits is heating up. But just how hot will it get locally? 24-Hour News 8's Joe LaFurgey's been asking those in the know. Joe joins us live from the live desk. Joe?
Yeah, Susie, it's interesting to see what was going on in Lansing today. And you remember back a couple days ago, we already saw one protest, one rally down at Calder Plaza involving police and firefighters. They were rallying against a proposal to try to rein in some of the public employee costs here locally. Saturday, Grand Rapids police and firefighters gathering at Calder Plaza against legislation that would do away with Public Act 312. Now, that's a law that allows an independent third party to decide whether a city is offering fair contracts to their public safety workers. That is binding, whatever that third party comes up with. While it's a contentious issue, Mayor George Hartwell says he does not see it growing into a Wisconsin-style standoff here in Grand Rapids.
Place where we're making progress is at the bargaining table. We're working with our unions, and they're bargaining in good faith with us. They realize that if they're going to protect jobs, if they're going to continue to provide services here, they're going to have to make concessions. And so that's exactly what we're doing. But we're doing it at the bargaining table, not out on the streets.
A little history here on Act 312. It goes back decades. It is designed to help those public safety workers who cannot strike by law get what they consider a fair deal out of their local community. The bill to repeal Act 312 is scheduled for a committee hearing tomorrow in Lansing. Back to you.
Okay, Joe, thank you for that. We will continue to monitor the mood and happenings at our capital, as well as watch for breaking developments out of our neighboring states. Also, make sure you stay up to date on everything at michigan.onpolitics.com. You can find it on our homepage at woodtv.com.